Paris Hilton's wedding was always going to be the epitome of glamour, and maybe not to every single person's taste. Now, I know a lot of us were prepared for something that was totally out there, and in some ways her wedding was absolutely that. But what I loved most about it was how much it stayed true to exactly who she is and how deeply personal it felt. Her multi-day, star-studded celebration at her late grandfather, Baron Hilton's Bel Air estate, wasn't just a lavish affair, it was a reminder that your wedding should reflect your personality, no matter what anyone else thinks. Paris and Carter Room were friends for over 15 years before becoming a couple, and their deep connection really shone through the day, which was so full of really beautiful, authentic moments. Plus, of course, a heavy dose of that Paris Hilton iconic charm. From her jaw-dropping custom gowns to the stunning venue and a show-stopping wedding cake, I'll be breaking down every detail of this fairy tale wedding that captivated the world. So whether you're looking for ideas to make your own celebration glamorous, personal, or just a little bit extra, this is one wedding that you will want to take notes on. So let's dive into all the unforgettable moments that made this event truly Paris Hilton coded. Welcome back, my loves, to the Curated Wedding. I'm Nazlee and I run Awfully Place, an award-winning wedding venue where we've hosted hundreds of beautiful wedding days. I've also recently gotten married myself, so I'll be unveiling all my insider secrets and top tips from both sides of the aisle so that we can discuss the art of a curated wedding. So if you're interested, subscribe and hit the bell to be notified of my weekly wedding tips so that you do not miss a thing. Today, we're delving right into Paris Hilton and Carter Room's star-studded wedding. There were, of course, appearances from Kim Kardashian and Nicole Richie. Emma Roberts and Rachel Zoe brought their signature style to the event, and there was even a performance from Demi Lovato. Honestly, this event was packed full of stars. I could sit here and just list them for hours, but I won't, because we're really here for all the behind the scenes wedding details and how exactly you can emulate her ultra luxe yet still ultra personal style for yourself. In this video, I'll be highlighting all of the most iconic elements of Paris Hilton's wedding and sharing all of my tips on how you can recreate them for your own celebration. If you haven't seen the cake yet, you are going to want to stick around. Let's dive right into the details. Custom designer wedding gowns. Now, we all expected a show-stopping gown from Paris Hilton, didn't we? And she did not disappoint, looking absolutely stunning in a custom Oscar de la Renta gown featuring intricate floral lace and a really timeless silhouette. She mentioned in an interview that she spent months alongside the designer making sure that the dress was absolute perfection, and that definitely shows. And of course, it wouldn't be Paris Hilton without a dress change or two, would it? So later on, she changed into an off-the-shoulder Gale Le Havre tulle dress for the first dance, with a corset top and a full skirt accessorized with a tiara and a diamond necklace. Now, I would love to know what you think about including a tiara in your wedding look. On the one hand, it definitely makes a really big statement, but if you're the kind of bride that dreams of feeling like a princess on your wedding day, you want that fairy tale sort of feel, I personally think, why not? This is your moment. So if a tiara is your kind of thing, then I think go for it. For dinner, Paris Hilton wore a bejeweled Pamela Roland dress with a sequin-covered cape and a plunging neckline. And for the reception, there was yet another dress change. I honestly do not know how these celebrities fit all of these dresses into one day, and Paris Hilton, in this case, opted for a more playful, short Oscar de la Renta dumber to dance the night away. And just when you think that's all, don't underestimate Miss Paris Hilton. She, in fact, had not 3, but 7 different wedding dresses throughout her multi-day celebration, including the iconic neon pink Alice and Olivia dress that she wore to the carnival-themed after party that she had. Now, if that's not Paris Hilton, I do not know what is. We were all waiting for this pop of pink to appear from somewhere, weren't we? Now, if you want to take inspiration from Paris's gorgeous dresses, then there's a few things that I'd suggest. Firstly, if you've fallen in love with the style of any of the dresses, definitely take a picture of them with you to your dress fitting, because it's likely that there will be a couple of styles that are similar for you to try on. Most of the one that she's gone for are a fairly classic cut as well, which also means that they'll be flattering on most body types too, which is definitely a bonus. Now, if you love the idea of having multiple dresses for your wedding, then this is also something that you can 100% incorporate, and it's something I've seen so many brides embracing in the last few years. Honestly, why not? This is your moment to shine, so I say go all out. The reception is just the place to go for something fun. A shorter look or even a pop of colour. Even a white suit would look amazing and give you a little bit more freedom to dance around than a traditional wedding dress. So if you want to stick to the more traditional look, the traditional dress for the ceremony and save it for the daytime, the evening is the perfect place where you can really let your personality shine through. Bridesmaids dresses. While we are on the subject of dresses, we need to talk about the bridesmaids. Paris's bridesmaids all wore beautiful pink lace dresses by Alice and Olivia. As Paris's maid of honor, her sister Nikki matched the look in a stunning gown, which gave her a really special moment, yet still had a really cohesive feel to the overall styling as she matched the rest of the bridesmaids too. The soft pink hues were perfect for complementing the overall romantic atmosphere of the day. And I personally think it's such a great colour for bridal dresses if you want that subtle romantic sort of feel, because pale pinks are just always going to be the colour of love. It's also such a classic colour choice, so it won't ever go out of style. Paris also gifted all of her bridesmaids hair clips with their names written on in diamantes for getting ready, which is such a sweet and personal touch. I actually did the same for my bridesmaids on my wedding day, and this is one that I'm telling you, you can really easily recreate for such a lovely gift that they'll keep and they'll actually use. There are sellers on Etsy who are absolute pros at creating these, so I'd start off with looking there if you're interested. And if you'd like to see everything else that I gifted my bridesmaids on the day of my wedding, let me know and I can make you a whole behind the scenes video going through all the details if that would be helpful for your planning. Now, when you're choosing your bridesmaids dresses, it's always worth considering a colour or style that aligns with the overall personality and the vibe of your wedding, like the pale pastel colours that Paris chose for her wedding day. So many brides have thrown away the classic matching dresses these days and are letting their bridal party choose their looks for themselves. But I personally do think that choosing a colour palette or even a theme that goes with the day will just add that subtle sense of cohesion in all of your photos, and it will just feel really harmonious. Of course, it's most important that everyone feels happy and comfortable, and you want your closest people to feel beautiful too. But I still think there's something really timeless to having all of your bridesmaids matching. To be honest, it's what I chose to do for my wedding day, and I went with a neutral mocha colour and made sure that they were all comfortable in the style, that it wasn't too fitted or too revealing, it wasn't something I wouldn't wear myself. And to be honest, I loved how the girls looked on the day. So if you'd prefer your bridesmaids in the same dress, do not let yourself be too pushed about by these trends. Matching bridesmaids dresses are always going to be in. So talk to your bridal party, make sure they're happy, choose something you love and just go for it. Special date and timings. Now, this is something so unique and I absolutely love it. The date that the couple chose for their wedding was the 11th of November, so the 11th of the 11th, which had a deep personal significance to them and was also tied to the launch of Paris's new media company called 1111. Always the businesswoman, and we love her for it. Paris shared that the date was a reminder to make a wish and to stay open to the possibility of miracles, and I think this is just such a beautiful, subtle way to tie in personal meaning and symbolism to your celebration. So if you have a date in mind that holds sentimental or symbolic significance, you can definitely consider making it your wedding day. After all, this date is going to be your anniversary forever. So whether it's a lucky number or a meaningful event from your relationship, choosing a special date can add a personal touch and make your day even more memorable. Just make sure to communicate your preferred date early on with venues and the suppliers that you're interested in to ensure that they're available and they can help bring your vision to life. I would suggest sending an email to check that your specific date is available before even booking a show round at a venue or booking an introduction call with your supplier, just so that you're not wasting any time on somewhere or on someone that simply won't be able to accommodate your day. This is also a little reminder that although so many people opt for a summer wedding, the off-peak months can be really special too. November weddings will usually have a bit of a reduced rate with most suppliers and venues as well, which means that you're getting exactly the same services with exactly the same quality at a reduced rate. So it's definitely worth considering. If it's good enough for Paris Hilton, you might as well have a look. Sentimental venue. Now, Paris and Carter exchanged their vows at Paris's grandfather's Bel Air estate, a venue that held deeply personal significance for her. She said that her childhood dream had always been to have a fairy tale wedding there, and this is something that I can hugely relate to, as I grew up dreaming of my own wedding day at our wedding venue on our estate, Offley Place, and finally tied the knot there in 2023. So of course, you might not have a wedding venue or an estate ready and waiting for you to get married in from your childhood, but for a lot of us, there will be some personal places that could work, like a family back garden or a property or a meaningful location in your relationship, or even your own home. This creates such a beautiful connection to the day, making it even more memorable. And if a space is not quite right for your full ceremony, it might be something that can be woven into other celebrations and other parts of your day. For example, we hosted our engagement party in a yurt in my parents' back garden, which felt so intimate and really special, and also just quite laid back and relaxed too, which is exactly what we wanted. Sometimes the most meaningful venues are actually the ones that you've created memories in for years. First look. When Paris talks about the couple's first look, she said that she always knew beforehand that she would cry. So she'd already planned a hair and makeup touch-up for afterwards, which I think is such a good idea, because this is one of the most emotional and really intimate moments of your whole wedding day. I know already that a first look isn't going to be for everyone, but we actually did one for our wedding day, and I absolutely love that it gave such a special, shared and private moment before the chaos, in a good way, chaos of the wedding began. It allows you to focus on just each other, and that isn't something that you're going to have a ton of time to do on the wedding day. For us, at our wedding, the first look was one of my favourite moments of the day. It just gave us the space to have a quiet, emotional exchange for just the two of us. We even incorporated our private vow reading then too, which made it even more meaningful. So if you're considering this, it can be a wonderful way to make sure the start of your day feels uniquely yours, and it's a really easy one to incorporate. Another amazing reason to have your first look is that you can take all your couple photos during this time as well. So before your guests even arrive. I knew already that we were going to have a lot of family photos for after the ceremony during the drinks reception. So for us, it worked out perfectly to have our couple photos taken before the wedding even began. It just gave us a little bit more time. Mirrored aisles and stunning florals. Paris Hilton's wedding decor was nothing short of spectacular, which is no surprise. But what I especially loved was the decision to opt for timeless white roses and lush greenery. The simplicity felt really elegant and romantic, which is just illuminated by the mirrored aisle lined with glowing candles for her entrance and complete with a giant arch of white roses. She tied the florals in with her bouquet, again, classic white roses. Now, if you want your wedding florals to have that timeless look, then opting for one classic flower is a really beautiful way to do it. And in my opinion, nothing says classic better than white roses. It feels cohesive, it feels elegant, and it is always gonna have that chic, timeless appeal. Candles and any mirrored surfaces are also a great way to add a little bit of magic to your lighting setup, but you might want to check with your venue about whether candles are allowed. Not to burst anyone's bubble, but a lot of heritage venues, including my one, Offley Place, will only allow LED candles for safety reasons these days, but there are some incredibly realistic LED options available that can still give you that glowing, romantic effect, so definitely don't let that put you off. Show-stopping cake. Paris Hilton's cake was an absolute showstopper and one of the things I loved most about her day. Now, to be honest, this specific cake is not to my taste at all, but I love it because it feels like such a true reflection of Paris's personality. It's opulent, it's glamorous, and it's a little bit over the top. Yes, there was a gold crown and 5 tiers, and the whole thing felt a little bit Cinderella carriage, but it was absolutely grand, and I felt like there were so many of us these days who are a bit scared to go for things that we think are a little bit cliche And we all want our wedding to feel really different and really unique, but I just love how in this case she's just embraced the magic of it all, and you can't help but get swept up in the romance. So this is your sign to throw away the cool bride guidebook and just go for something that feels really you. Go crazy and opulent, add monograms, make it a fairy tale dream cake, or if that's absolutely not your style, then embrace whatever your style is. Your cake is one of the most fun elements of the whole wedding, and it's one that you and your guests get to eat and enjoy, so why not use it as a vessel to celebrate everything that makes you unique? I say definitely go for it. Custom wedding details. The magic is in the details, and Paris Hilton's reception was absolutely full of those custom little details, that personalization, and it gave the whole wedding that luxurious elegance that I know we were all expecting. I love that Paris added photos of her loved ones through the venue, which is something that you can really easily replicate at your wedding day. And it's just such a beautiful way to show your guests how much they mean to you. For my best friend's wedding that I planned in summer 2023, she had the most beautiful idea of setting up a whole table of family photos of her family's wedding days, showing all of their love stories. It was such a special way to celebrate the generations of love that came before her. If you're thinking about honouring loved ones, or maybe those who are no longer with you, but you don't want it to feel too somber, this is a really wonderful way to remember them through one of the happiest times of their lives. It adds real depth to your day, and it's just a lovely reminder that their love shaped your story too, quite literally in many cases. Now, the dinner setup for Paris Hilton's wedding was of course very glamorous, with gold trimmed charger plates, pink and white rose bouquets on the tables, and crystal elements throughout. This might feel like it's a little bit too much for you. It definitely is more on the glam side than I would have opted for personally, but again, I feel like it's just really Paris. She is the constant reminder that your wedding is your invitation to go all out and embrace whatever makes you happy. Live entertainment. So with the amount of very famous guests in attendance, it is absolutely no surprise that the entertainment at the wedding was next level, with performances by Kim Petras, who sang Paris' iconic hit Stars Are Blind, and Demi Lovato, who beautifully covered I Will Always Love You. The newlyweds shared their first dance to Bruno Mars's romantic Just the Way You Are, creating a perfect soundtrack to the celebration. These, by the way, are all really classic wedding choices if you're not sure where to start with your songs. Now, of course, it might be a little bit of a stretch to ask Demi Lovato to play at your wedding, but I think live music is such a beautiful thing to incorporate in your wedding day, and I honestly think there is no way that you're going to regret this one. If you've got any musically talented friends or any family, you could ask them to perform a song for you, which will add that really special personal touch. And if you do choose to have a band playing at your reception, they are often open to learning new songs, different songs, with enough notice, of course. So don't be afraid to ask if they can feature some of your favorites. Now, for a more low-key approach or a different version of this, what you could do is just curate your own playlist that tells the story of your relationship. It's just another way to make it feel that more meaningful. Now, I know live musicians in particular can be one of the pricier elements of a wedding budget, but honestly, I'd say that this one is so worth it. We chose to have a live band throughout the whole of our wedding day, and they were incredible. They had everyone dancing right from the start and all night long. Live musicians can really read the room, and they can work with your guests in a different way. So if you're worried about an empty dance floor or people not really getting on, this is the best way to solve for that. To this day, the one thing that we get the most compliments about when it comes to our wedding was our band. So definitely don't miss out. And that is a wrap on Paris Hilton's spectacular wedding celebrations. From the glamorous dresses, the star-studded guest list, every detail was a true reflection of her personality and love story. And I think it's also an invitation for you to make your wedding all the more personal. For any more behind the scenes details of Paris Hilton's incredible wedding, you can check out her docuseries, Paris in Love. Now, whether you're drawn to the show-stopping cake, the sentimental venue, or the custom wedding details, I hope you found some inspiration for your own big day. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. I'd love to hear about your plans. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel, because you never know what other iconic weddings are coming your way where we can break down all the details together. Also, drop a comment with any celebrity weddings that you'd like me to feature as well. Let me know below. Please give this video a like if you found it helpful, it really means a lot, and follow along for more inspiration. You can also find me on Instagram at the.curated.wedding, where I share even more wedding tips, trends, and fresh inspiration. And be sure to sign up for my monthly newsletter in the description box below, where I share all my insider tips and access to my little black book of wedding supplies that you won't want to miss. I'll see you next week, and happy planning!